Hi, my name is Ken Schwartz, and I'm going to do this first in a series of videos where I'm going to be using this particular knife. It's a Moritaka. A customer had either sharpened or had it sharpened for him, and apparently the last sharpening that was done on it used probably an Atoma 140 or DMT double extra coarse or similarly coarse grit on the edge, and I'm not quite sure if it shows up well enough, but you can see in the light, and I'll change the angles a little bit, that there are some pretty serious scratches along the surface. Let's see if I can zoom in on it a bit. No, apparently not. But pretty serious looking scratches. So I'm going to be using a series of natural stones. I've got several laid out. I haven't begun soaking them yet, but I'll give a quick introduction to the stones that I'm going to be using or potentially using. More or less in order of the coarseness of the stone. So initially, and they play quite well, I'm going to be using a Nubatama synthetic stone for the initial work. This is the 180 grit Ume or Plum Series stone, and from there I'm going to switch to natural stones after that. The first stone that I'll be using will be a natural, not the synthetic, but a natural Kyushu Omura stone. That's this stone. You'll see them later in their videos when they're soaked, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what the stone looks like. These are stones from Tanaka Toishi Kogyosho of Kyoto, Japan. This is the surface we'll be using. I may or may not, depending on the finish, go to this Amakusa stone after that. It's a somewhat finer stone. And again, I may skip that stone. This is another stone. This is a Tajima stone. You'll see several smaller pieces of the Tajima stone over on Chef's Knives to Go. There's a little piece of the Tajima stone, just to give you an idea what it looks like wet. I do have other Tajima stones, but the one that I'm going to be showing you is my own stone, but it gives you an idea what it looks like with little specks in there and so forth. Next stone that I may use in this sequence is an Aoto stone. This particular Aoto stone is a Wachi Aoto. Let me wash off some of this older mud on there, give you an idea of what it looks like. It's a bit harder than some of the Aotos that you've seen before. So that's what the surface of it looks like. Very nice stone, but we'll see more of it and its use as we go through these stones in the videos. In some instances I may be a bit redundant just to show off the stone, since obviously it's not necessary to go through every one of these stones when doing a natural stone sequence. This is another type of Aoto. Formally it may not be considered an Aoto. It's a Monzen Aoto, and you can see it, unlike most Aotos, has a reddish color to it. I love the smell of natural stones. But you'll see it's a very muddy stone. We'll be taking a look at it. Okay, another stone So now we're getting into the realm of polishing stones. This large chunk is a Mayara stone, fairly hard stone. You can see that there's little sort of black specks in there. I would not call that karasu, but it's reminiscent of that. It gives you an overview of what that stone looks like. Very nice, very useful stone. Not a very well-known stone, but I really like it quite a bit. Then we'll be looking at another stone. Get this out of the box here. This is a Yaganoshima Asagi stone. This is probably one of the most popular stones, and deservedly so, because it's fine, it's hard enough to be used on some straight razors, but yet still soft enough to be used for knife sharpening. So it's in a spot where it's an extremely versatile stone. It's something I recommend a lot to a lot of people, and pretty much uniformly people love the hell out of this stone. We'll have a chance to look this over in more detail. Let's see. Next, I will be showing off a couple other stones. These stones are pretty rare to come by. This is a Shinden stone. This particular stone is a Shinden Suita. Personal stone. It does have an inclusion over here, and what you can do with inclusions is dig them out so they're below the surface of the stone. Again, the stone itself will work quite nicely, and that one little caveat. But other than that, the stone is an extremely nice example. You can see it has sort of a layered look, which is typical of Suita type stones. Pretty hard stone. We'll go over that as well. Here are a couple more stones. These are both Nakayama stones. This is a Nakayama Asagi stone. You'll find this is as hard, or perhaps a little harder, than some of the Izuku stones. It's primarily something that you see used for straight razors. However, it's not unreasonable to use it as a sort of final stone for knife use as well. This is another Nakayama stone, one of my own. It's a Nakayama Iramono, preferred term over the Kiita, and you can see it's an extremely fine stone. Again, primarily you'll see straight razor users use it, but people do use it as a final finisher, and you'll see that it's a very fine stone. The grit on it is extremely fine, still cuts reasonably quickly. This is also a fine stone, but it's a very muddy stone. This is a Haka Tomai, the particular layer. And you'll see it's a muddy stone, works very well with single bevels, and it will also work well with knives that have a large surface area like this. So let's get started with this. And again, we're going to start out with this 180 grit Nubatama stone. Again, it's been pre-soaked, so we'll go from there. Time-wise, I tell you what, maybe I should pause since it's going long, and we'll start with that one in another video and just use this video as an introduction to the series.